Yo, what's good everyone? I am the mouth of the South, and we are recording at a slightly different location than normal, mainly because I'm at my girlfriend's house. And today I thought we'd do something a little different. We are going over my top 5 most influential deathcore vocalists. Now, when I say my most influential, I don't mean who I think is the most influential in all of deathcore, who started the scene and all that kind of stuff. Not worried about any of that. I'm on about the vocalists who inspired me and what I do vocally and what I try and replicate vocally, so on, so forth. So that's what we're here for today. Now, basically, as I go along, as I say, this is a top 5, but I do want to give a few honourable mentions before we get started with the actual list. We have Chris Motionless of Motionless in White, mainly because when I first started getting into heavier music, the kind of the more metalcore side of things, after my Slipknot and Metallica phase wore off, I started to get more into metalcore, and Chris Motionless was the first guy I ever heard that was like, dude, that's fucking heavy, and it was Immaculate Misconception, so he was quite the influence there. Also going to include Johan Hegg of Amon Amarth, mainly because I fell massively in love with Amon Amarth because I am massively into Norse mythology and Viking traditions myself. When it comes to raising my own child, I'm going to withhold them to a lot of Viking traditions, and with their nursery we're planning on doing a whole natural Viking landscape and Nordic runes and all that kind of stuff. So I was massively into the Viking stuff, and Johan Hegg's vocals really stood out to me just because they were death metal, but in a understandable way, and also in the sense that you could really hear what he had to say. His enunciation and his clarity with his vocals is what made him stand out most, and the fact he could almost talk them was insane, and I practiced doing that quite a lot. Come with me, we hold our heads up to the sky and know that we will never die. What's on this lotus on our side? And lastly, good friend of mine and vocalist of Worm Shepherd, we have Devin Duarte. Now, his lows are so squishy and gnarly and horrible, and they're awesome, but it is his real crisp, clean, bordering on whistle tone highs that oh yeah, I heard his highs and was just like, I want to learn how to do that, let me do that. So yeah, Devin Duarte, massively. Now let's get on with the actual list itself. Now, this isn't necessarily in any particular order, and I'm gonna go over basically what each vocalist inspired me to do. And we're gonna start off with the vocalist who really got me to understand lows and how you can manipulate them and how to make them sound really fucking good. And that's Phil Bozeman. Phil Bozeman, of course, of Whitechapel, and as I say, he really influenced me to start trying to manipulate my lows and to get my mid sounding more gnarly, and how to properly start doing tunnels and that kind of stuff. And as I say, his main influence was basically taking the bulk standard kind of death growl that I'd learned how to do and teaching me how to manipulate that and turn that into a noise that sounded much more refined and much more cleaner and, yeah, more understandable as well. And Phil Bozeman is just an absolute goat of the scene as well. And he inspired me to have such a big range with my lows. Yeah, Phil's just a fucking goat. Next up, we're going with Dickie Allen of Infant Annihilator, Scumfuck. You mind? Trying to record a video. Come here. Next up, we have Dickie Allen of Infant Annihilator and also Scumfuck. Dickie inspired me mostly with my highs, and his kind of goblin-esque weird creature highs. Now, I don't necessarily, in my highs, try to replicate the goblin noise that he makes, but I definitely take the weird fantasy creature take towards my highs. He also massively inspired me with the tunnel throats and the snorts, because he did that first in Unholy Gravebirth, and I do that in a few of my songs, and yeah, I've done it in covers and auditions for stuff, so yeah. Also, whenever I do vocal warm-ups, in all of my like range checks and all that kind of stuff, I always include the line from Unholy Gravebirth, which has this awesome tunnel into it, which then it travels up and then also travels back down, all within one breath, which is really useful to me and yeah, really helps me to start to define what my highs could sound like and all that kind of stuff, yeah. Next up, we have CJ McReary of Lorna Shore, Signs of the Swans X, and Immortal Disfigurement. CJ definitely helped me to refine what Phil taught me with lows, and I definitely tried to get more of a garglier sound and get more of a disgusting toilet bowl, real wet, like moisture sloshing around the jowls, whilst also getting the like real low, like squeezing as little air out as possible, whilst getting like the real tight butthole fucking lips to try and get like as low as possible with it. So CJ definitely helped with that, and again inspired me to get my lows lower. I feel like anytime I've got into a artist who really does lows well, I'm just like, okay, lower, look lowlier, lowlier, look even lowlier. He's also been a bit of inspiration with the highs and making like weird noises. When I first heard King of Deception, that breakdown, I was just like, what the fuck is he even doing? So yeah, it incorporated some of that into like the tunnely kind of weird noises I make. Our fourth spot goes to William Ramos, because how could he not be? I think if you're into modern deathcore, at any point you've heard a sound that Will Ramos makes and you immediately go, that was fucking cool. I want to do something like that. You've all seen my reactions to Will's stuff, and if you haven't, fuck you, go watch it. What are you doing, man? You've all seen my reactions to Will's stuff, my To the Hellfire, where I literally nearly died via a sword, and yeah, again, inspired me with the snorts. It's mainly inspired me with my highs, trying to get more crisp and clean, and really try and push to get up there, whilst also having like a really cool, as I say, like crisp, clean tone to it as well, and try to mix that in with the kind of creature noises that Dickie Allen makes. My highs are fucking weird, man. Now, this last spot goes to a vocalist who, in a way, inspired me the most. I remember being about 19 and just stumbling across a video of his, and I just had it on repeat all day. These two in particular videos where I was just like, I want to do that in the way of being a frontman for a deathcore band, in the way of playing shows, in the way of vocally I want to have a range like that. And do I necessarily try and replicate their sound in my own voice? Almost not at all. However, they made me immediately want to dive deeper into deathcore and deathcore vocals and what they could offer, and it made me, as I say, just turn around and be like, I want to do that. Like, no one else has inspired me like that. And this man is Tom Barber. I remember seeing it was the Chelsea Grin Dead Rose live Warped Tour, uploaded by Caliber TV, and then I watched Hostage straight over, and I just had these two videos on repeat, non-stop, because they were so good. They were so good. Like, he sounded that good live, and I'd never really heard, aside from Phil Bozeman, a deathcore vocalist sound that good live before. And I was just hooked instantly, and immediately dove into Eternal Nightmare. Some of my first ever deathcore vocal covers were of Dead Rose and Hostage, and none of them are good. They're all bad, so don't judge me on them. Yeah, it really opened my eyes to what deathcore vocals could be, and as I say, just made me see that, what he was doing, and just go, whatever he's doing, I want to do that. That's what I want out of life. I want that. And the fact he has success in Darko and Chelsea Grin is just fucking insane, and I love it. So anyways, that is it from me today, guys. I hope you have enjoyed. Please like, share, subscribe, do some naughty things in the comments down below. Let me know what you thought of my list. Let me know who your most influential musicians are as a whole. Let me know what you think of me. And other than that, you've been wonderful people. I've been the mouth of the South, and as always, you guys are the real motherfucking heroes. I'm out of here, y'all.